Hello, instructor. My name is Sandeep Thakal, and today I'll be introducing the fascinating connection between faith, philosophy, and science in the origin of Bayesian probability. Faith, reason, and probability: how Bayes and Price shaped modern AI. I'll be talking about how two 18th century thinkers, Thomas Bayes and Richard Price, connected faith, philosophy, and mathematics in a way that continues to shape modern artificial intelligence and data science. Bayes lived from around 1702 to 1761 and Richard Price from 1723 to 1791. Together, their ideas, especially Bayes' essay and essay towards solving a problem in the doctrine of sciences, published in 1763, built the foundation of what we now call Bayesian probability. Their work shows a fascinating link between faith, reason, and scientific discoveries. What is Bayesian probability? Bayesian probability is a method for updating our belief when new evidence appears. In simple terms, it helps us start with what we already believe, take in new information, and then refine our understanding. For example, doctors use this approach every time they revise a diagnosis after seeing test result. As China 2024 describes, this process is central to how machine learns, predict, and reason. It is not just a formula, it's a framework for thinking rationally under uncertainty. Historical context: Thomas Bayes was both a mathematician and an English Presbyterian minister. He lived during Britain's Age of Enlightenment, a time that emphasized reason, evidence, and scientific process. As noted by Clark 2017 and Hickman 2017, Bayes' life as a religious dissenter influenced his passion for rational faith and education. He developed the mathematical principle we now call Bayes' theorem, which explains how to update probabilities with new data. Interestingly, his essay wasn't published until after his death, when his close friend Richard Price edited and presented it to the World Society in 1763. Richard Price was a Welsh philosopher, mathematician, and fellow minister. Like Bayes, he was a rational dissenter, someone who believed that faith and reason should work together. Price edited Bayes' work, expanded it, and applied probability to real-world problems like insurance and finance. He also wrote major works such as a review of the principal question in morals and observation on revisionary payment. Beyond mathematics, Price was a political thinker who supported the American and French revolutions, advocating liberty and equality. As Darwin noted, he presented the Enlightenment idea of combining moral philosophy, science, and faith. Historical context and shared influence. Both Bayes and Paris lived during a period of incredible intellectual transformation in 18th century Britain. It was the era of Enlightenment thought where reason, science, and human progress were celebrated. Probability theory was becoming essential in fields like finance and insurance, and dissenting academies, schools run by religious nonconformists promoted rationally inquiry despite restriction. What makes Bayesian press special is how they unite faith and reason. They view probability not just as math, but as a way to understand uncertainty and divine order. The legacy shows that mathematics, theology, and moral progress are not opposites, they can enrich one another. Doctrine of chances. Both men saw no conflict between science and faith. Their Christian belief deeply shaped their understanding of probability. As ministers, they believed God's creation was orderly and rational, and mathematics revealed that order. Bayesian theorem, which describes how beliefs are updated with new evidence, can even be seen as a reflection of faith-seeking understanding. Price took this further, arguing that moral reasoning and divine justice was part of the same rational design of the universe. The doctrine of chance represented the idea that uncertainty isn't chaos, it's part of the God providence and design. Faith and philosophy. Bayes and Price both responded to the skepticism of their time, especially the philosopher David Hume, who doubted the possibility of miracles. Price used probability to argue that it's rational to believe in God and moral truth when supported by strong evidence. Both men believed reasonable, strength faith that mathematics reflect the divine order of the world. For them, studying probability wasn't just science. It was a way to understand how God works through logic and evidence. Modern implication from Bayes to artificial intelligence. Now fast forward to today, the same theorem developed in the 70s is the foundation of much of modern AI and data science. Bayes' theorem gives computer a mathematical way to update their belief as new data comes in, just like human revise opinion with new evidence. As Mark Rainey noted, this principle drives modern predictive model machine learning and statistical reasoning. And without Richard Price's decision to publish Bayes' essay, we might not have had this critical bridge from faith-based reasoning to data-driven intelligence. Modern application. Here are the few examples where Bayes ideas live on today. In machine learning, Bayes model continuously update prediction as they receive new data. In spam filter email system use Bayesian theorem to determine how likely a message is spam based on certain words. In medical diagnosis, Bayesian network help doctor access the probability of a disease given test result and symptoms. And in self-driving cars, probabilistic model estimate whether pedestrian and vehicle are most likely to move next. In each of these, the core principle is the same. Start with prior knowledge, add evidence, and make better prediction. Belief and mathematics, Bayesian price. Finally, both Bayes and Price show us that faith and reason can coexist beautifully. The Presbyterian background taught them that God's universe is rational and that understanding it honors the Creator. Bayes' approach of treating belief with new evidence mirrors the theological idea of faith-seeking understanding. Price extended this by linking mathematics, morality, and divine justice, showing that reasoning can reveal God's rational decision. For example, Bayes' theorem represents belief updating start with faith or prior knowledge, adding new evidence and arriving at deeper understanding. Price revolutionary payment applied mathematical fairness to life insurance, showing how moral reasoning and probability can work hand in hand. Together, their lives remind us that scientific inquiry and theology are not enemies, they are partners in search for truth. These are the sources I use for this presentation. Thank you for listening. I hope this presentation helps you see how faith, philosophy, and mathematics have shaped modern artificial intelligence.